Hello and welcome to another Watcher of Realms video, and in this video I am going to be doing stage 12 of the Northerners trial. This is one of the more restrictive trials, but it also has quite heavy free-to-play accessibility, especially with one of the more recently released characters, and that is going to be the current Shard Summon character, should I say, Rork, who I have managed to pick up. I have maxed out, and he is actually very good for this. I'm going to just jump into the stage and you can kind of see what I'm working with. You do have to deploy 3 mages. This is the major restriction, no pun intended. And we have got 3 mages. I did manage to pick up Nocturne, like I think around a week ago or so, and that was the missing link for me. I think some people will have Shamir or Nocturne being the issue for them, but being able to complete it is decent, getting some stars. Once you get those mages, it'll be easier. Now, the thing that's great about this character, I won't go into too much depth on how I built him or anything until the end of the video, but it's the range. He's got an attack range of 2. This is really important for how we're going to play him, because I was using Isolde when I tried this before, and it was just too tough because she isn't that great a tank. Like in these sort of stages, she just can't take the hits. Not someone like Evelyn who can do constant control, so she reduces the amount of consistent damage she's going to take. And she's nowhere near Olag's level. Olag is obviously another level. Now, the great thing about placing him behind a tank is he has a talent where he gives out shields based on, you know, certain things that happen based on them doing ultimates, I think it is. Let me just read the actual talent here. And it says, whoever casts an ultimate within 1 tile lasting for 10 seconds gets a 15% of their max HP shield. The strength of the shield increases by 100% when the effect works on this hero. So he gets a really big shield, but the adjacent heroes get a 15% of their max HP shield. And that is actually honestly really good, because Evelyn does her ultimate non-stop. So she's going to be constantly getting shields. It's going to work really nicely. We're just going to jump into the stage. I'll walk through it and then I'll go over the gear at the end. I think this should be pretty smooth. The timings are pretty tough in this though. We'll have to see how it goes here. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is place down Nocturne. He is a requirement for the 3-star, so I assume you have got him for this. But if you don't, or if you have Valkyra as well, she might be quite good to place first, because she could probably deal with this bottom line. Now you can see these damage procs coming out where it's doing like true damage. I need this to proc at least once against this top enemy, so hopefully that happens. Now we will be able to place more. He will be next, but I'm not going to place him just yet, and I'll talk about it in a second. Now as this enemy gets to this corner and starts to walk down, I'll explain what I'm going to do next. We're going to do the ultimate of Nocturne. As the enemy hits this square just here, he'll do 3 steps. It'll be 1, 2, 3, and then when he's doing the 3rd step, as he lifts his foot, I do my ultimate. My character only has 200 speed. 1, 2, does the ultimate. 200 speed seems to be good. Now, the timing here again is important. Now, we did get the bonus damage proc, which is important as well. The next enemy that comes out of the portal, I need to place Maul down in his position as soon as they appear. As soon as they appear. There we go. I'm going to place Maul. Then we're going to place Vortex. And the reason we place Maul late is because 20 seconds into the fight, he starts to slow enemies, where he doesn't slow them early on. You'll see, like this attack comes in, no slows. No slows at all. But now, when he gets to this corner, it'll be about 20 seconds in, and you can see Nocturne can still attack. He'll do his slow now, and this enemy is just like paused. And Nocturne can just finish off this enemy. Time to perfection on this first part, which can be quite hard to set up, so you might want to do that. If you're using Harpen, I'd place him now, just to start getting his rage, because he has really bad initial rage. And then the next character we're going to place is Shamir. Now, if you're using Bruenor instead of Harpen, you can't place him that early, I don't think. I think Bruenor costs 19, so you're going to have to wait until after Shamir to place Bruenor. Now, the enemies that come out down here, once we've removed the shield, we can place my Shamir. There we go, shields removed, and Shamir will be placed. We'll do some ultimates just for the Soulbound Arcana procs up here. And the second we take out that enemy, we're going to sell Vortex, and this is just because we need 1 extra deployment, and Vortex just seems to be the easiest one to do. The second Nocturne's ultimate comes up, you want to do it, and then you also want to place Rork as early as you can on the back square, not the front one. And once the second shield is taken out by Shamir, we will sell Shamir. We'll also place Light Lock. So the next attack should remove that shield. We'll sell Shamir. And the second we're able to, we'll place down Evelyn. So it's perfect so far. The next part is the next real test. We need to do the ultimate of Rork straight away, because these cleaver enemies are really problematic. And there's two of them. The second one is going to come out. We need to take out the first one before the second one gets to us, because they do crazy damage. It's like 45k. You can see 41k in this case, but the shields from the ultimate of Evelyn, because she's adjacent to Rork, is actually pretty nice. And as you can see, we took the first one out without too much of a problem there. Now, we need to time Shamir's placement next. And we want to place him here, looking downwards. And we want to do that the second the block has come in on these two enemies that are coming along. You can see it got really close on this enemy. It's pretty brutal. So we want to place him about now. He'll help with the damage, which is nice. And the second you take out that cleaver, you want to sell him, because the rest of it will just take time. But we need Harpin for later on in the fight. And this is where we still got the extra cost that we will need from Mari. Shamir will do his ultimate down the bottom, which is nice. You can pop Rork again if you need to. If I just slow it down again, there'll be an arrow that comes out of here and hits this. The second it hits this is when I pop Nocturne's ultimate. It seems to be pretty good timing. So it's going to hit now. We do ultimate here. When that shield gets removed, we place her. And the second these start moving, we will try and maybe we can take out that second enemy. We will sell Shamir. Now, if you're on stage 11, you need Mari not to die. So you need to time this really well on her sell, which will probably be about now. I don't mind if she dies. I want her to get off as much slow as possible, because obviously when these shields get removed, these enemies will nuke me. But like I say, I want to get off this this last little slow here, and you might not be able to do that. We might just be. Oh, we got very fortunate. This part is a bit rough. And then what we want to do is we want to try and slow here if we can, just so that we can get some extra damage on this enemy right here. It's important to take out both of these. Once you've done that, you can sell Nocturne. And then you can look up with Harpin. And you should be able to get the next ultimate quick enough that you might be able to break a lot of these shields quickly, so that you don't get any of the AoE damage. Hopefully another slow's going to come in. We'll see. There we go. So we're only going to deal with 3 cleavers, which is still brutal. But once he's done his shield as well, we'll pop his ultimate, just so he's in this state of reduced incoming damage. And then we'll actually, we don't need to place her. They're doing really well here. So I'm going to now place him up here, and we can sell everyone on this right hand side. I don't think it really makes any difference. We can sell everyone on this right hand side just in case we need Clost, or if we can maybe place them in a little bit. Now we want to pop Rork the second he comes up, because we need to deal with this first character as quickly as possible. And hopefully if we put down Mari, we'll just do a little bit of slow here. Nothing too crazy. There we go. Rork's going to do a little bit of damage off, which is nice. And then we place him. So, like I said, a bit shaky at the end, but we are going to get it done. So shaky. So shaky. Are we going to get it done? We are. We are. Real shaky. I didn't use some legendaries that I had, but we managed to get the 3 stars. This was the last one I needed to do. I'm so happy that it's out of the way, and I managed to do it with a very, very, very free-to-play accessible team. That is what I wanted to do, because if you see my Northerners, you can see I have some pretty good Northerners that I didn't use. Let's go to Northerners. I have Haas. I have Elder. This will give me more buffs. I have even Crodor. As much as he was free to play, I wanted to use as many of the epics as possible, and I used Rork, which is great because he's brand new. He did a good job, and I can say I'm pretty happy with this. Honestly, we'll go over the gear on these characters. As you can see, he is in Soulbound Arcana, and he is going to do limited damage at the beginning of the fight. But if you're using Infernal Roar, it will be nicer at the beginning, but not as good at the end. So I don't think it really makes that big a difference, but I just used Soulbound Arcana. I have actually got more better Soulbound Arcana sets, apparently. I used the Tear of Twilight as the item. It is maxed out, quite important. For Shamir, we'll just jump over to him. He is in this set, and it's because we're picking him up and putting him down quite a lot, so we don't want to wait for the procs to happen. We need to have his damage as high as possible. He is in like my best Infernal Roar gear. I would normally put this on Harpen, but because when I got Rork, they supported each other quite nicely with the damage. I was pretty happy with that. So I'd say like put your best Infernal Roar gear on Shamir, just because he is getting picked up and placed quite a lot. The next, with his artifact, I might not have even had a good artifact. Okay, I did. This is okay. AoE damage, his ultimate's going to get a bit of a boost. That's absolutely fine. Then we have Maul. He's in my second best, Soulbound Arcana set. He's placed throughout the entire fight, so it's not too much of a problem. He is quite important. His damage at the end, you saw, was quite nukish. Just obviously, you know, his ultimate, you want to time it to perfection on that second push round, so he kind of stops them on that corner, so Nocturne takes those out. Because if he doesn't, Olag's going to have to tank cleavers way too long. Even though it's Olag, you don't want it to be the case. And we have got a maxed out Sharpshooter's Crest here. Very important, again, extra 30% AoE damage when there are no enemies adjacent, and he doesn't have adjacent enemies. They're always too far away, which is great. And then Rork is got some peculiar gear. I don't have anything too crazy, but I went for quite HP based items. As you can see, there's HP bonus and HP bonus. If I had HP bonus in the top, I would do that because his damage scales off of HP bonus, and that's why on the left hand side you can see we've got a lot of HP bonus items. Immortal Warrior as well, just extra HP. We want to get that HP up as much as possible because that's where the damage scales off of. We went with a bit of crit damage. It's not too bad, 144%. And his hits are going to hit for 40% more like damage because it's basic attack damage, not like basic attack. It will scale his damage even though his damage is scaling off of HP. So it will still work. I think it could be really good to try and pick up an Infernal Roar set which has HP bonus as the main stat for Rork. Like, just keep an eye on that. As long as it has crit and crit damage in these other stats and like flat HP, just a different type of like character gear to look for. Bit unique, but it could be pretty good. I might actually do a guide on Rork because he's just kind of fun. Do give me your thoughts on if you would like to see that. Now, artifact, I have got a maxed out Frigid Flame, which is quite nice. But again, it increases damage by 11% every 4 seconds when he takes no damage. So it's just his damage increase, not attack. Anything that increases his attack is not going to be good. So Frigid Flame worked quite nicely. And then who else did we use? We used Harpen, who had pretty decent gear. I think I normally use this on Setrum. Pretty decent attack speed, pretty decent crit damage. Okay, attack boost. Nearly 10,000 attack on a Harpen isn't too bad. I didn't have an artifact on him. That was a mess up. But I would use a Siphon if you had any spare, just because he is single target. But we didn't need it. Maybe we needed it earlier on in the fight. Those first cleavers might have been smarter. But the end of the fight is where it's normally shaky. And he did absolutely fine, which is great. He did absolutely fine. Next up is going to be the tanks. Well, one of the tanks, Avalyn. I think she has got the slightly better gear in a way, but she does have defense bonus on one of her items. I don't have crazy good Guardian gear, but it is what it is. We're just going to get like HP bonus as much as possible, get her HP up as nice and high. And then she'll be getting, what, I think 15% shields because of Rork. And then the item she's got is a Bastion's Ring, which is not maxed out, but I need a lot of Bastion's Rings for the Infernal, or is it Immortal Codex, that's it. Then we have Lightlock. He was in invigoration. Now, I did give the invigoration to Rork, and I think that was just like, you know, kind of brain reaction. Give invigoration to the character that is going to do damage, but I think it gives attack. One random ally in damage gains 10% attack. It's not 10% damage, so it didn't actually help Rork at all. So you don't necessarily need to do that. There could be other things you could do that'd be better. You could just max out his attack speed. So his attack speed was pretty good, because then he's just obviously doing a little bit more damage. Artifact, I'm not really sure what I had here. Golden Scarab, mainly good for the rage regen. I think his base rage regen is 82%. This isn't including this 40%, because if I switch this out, you'll see his rage regen is still 80%. So he's getting crazy good rage regen, so he's popping his ultimate quite a lot, which is quite good. Did I miss? Oh no, I didn't. Just because I moved the item. He had the better tanky gear. He does have to do like the harder tank job at the end, but it really depends on the characters you're using. Olag is pretty good regardless. I probably could have switched them around, honestly, because at the end, my characters on the right-hand side did a really good job. He had the slightly better Bastion's Ring as well. It wasn't really required, but it is what it is. Maybe I could have sold him and then switched him for Avalyn near the end of the fight to make it like slightly more stable, because that last part is a bit shaky, but it is what it is. And then who was the last character I used, or the last couple? We have him, just decent HP, because his heals based off of HP. I also had invigoration on him, and we invigorated more, and that does work. We have quite a nice Norse Glory. Every heal he does has a chance to give bonus of shield, which is obviously great. And then the last character we used was Mari. She's just in attack speed and rage regen and actual the mana spring set, so she's just getting a lot of rage. Like, I wanted to try and get her ultimate on that bottom area as quickly as possible. You just want to go for as much attack speed as possible, just so she's doing her slow as often as possible as you can. I didn't have one here. It doesn't make any real difference. There's nothing that increases her attack speed. And that is it. That is it for the Northerners trial. That's it for all the trials. I managed to complete all of them now, which is great. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Managed to get you through it. Rork really did make the difference on that fight when it comes to like a bit more of a free-to-play accessible lineup. But obviously the issue is still the mages. Shamir and Nocturne. If you don't have those, you cannot get 3 stars. So hopefully maybe another epic Northerner comes out that's a mage. We'll have to wait and see in the future. But that's it for my little guide. Like I said, hopefully it was useful for you. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.